Good evening and welcome to tonight's Meshekh Chokhmah shir. This week's parsha is Parshas Tetzaveh. So the Chumash says in Shemos, Perek Chavtes, Pasuk Mem Beis, that's 29:42. So the Pasuk says, Olas Tamid L'Dorosechem, it will be a burnt offering that is constant for your generations. Pesach Oal Moed Lifnei Hashem, by the door of the Oal Moed, the tent of meeting before Hashem. Asher Ivaled Lachem Shama, which I will meet with you over there. Lidaber Elecha Sham, to speak to you there. This is a kind of interesting. This is a kind of interesting, pasuk, because generally we think of Hashem speaking to Moshe, although we do associate it with the Oel Moed as opposed to using the word Mishkan. We generally picture that the voice of Hashem comes from between the Kruvim, from the aron. It is kind of strange that in this pasuk, the Hashem associates his revelation to Moshe with the location of the mizbeaich. As we're going to see, the Meshekh Chokhmah uses this to discuss the relative roles of the mizbeaich and the aron. So Rashi says on this pasuk, when I set an appointment to speak to you, that is where I will set for you to arrive. Some of our rabbis learn from this that from on top of the copper mizbeach, that's the big mizbeach that was outside the actual tent, Hashem would speak to Moshe. Meishu hukam hamishkan, from whence the Mishkan was built. V'yesh omrim, and some say me'ala kapores, that it was from on top of the kapores. That's the cover to the aron, shenamar, as it says in Shemos Chavhei Chavbeis. That's 25:22. V'nodagti l'chasham, I will make myself known to you there. V'dibarti itecha me'al hakapores, and I'll speak to you from on top of the kapores. Mibein shnei kruvim asher al aron ha'idus, from between the two kruvim, which is on top of the aron of testimony. Al kol asher atzaveu secha el bnei Yisrael, everything I command you for the bnei Yisrael. And Rashi now continues, Vasher ivaled lachem ha'amur kan, and that which it says in our pasuk about the mizbeach, that I will make meetings for you. Eino amur al mizbeach ela lo ha'moed hanizkar b'mikra. So according to this understanding of the pasuk, even though this pasuk is about the mizbeach where the Kabban Tamin is brought outside the Oel Moed, the way Rashi is saying, some read this pasuk is a regular burnt offering throughout the generations at the entrance of the tent of the meeting before Hashem. For there, at this tent of meeting, whose entrance is near where the carbon will be brought, I will meet with you. So for there, the there is not the mizbeach, it's the Oel Moed. Meshekh Chokhmah now, since that is what we're here to learn. Okay, so this he quotes from Rashi, that some people say that Hashem spoke from the on top of the mizbeach, where the Kabban Tamin is brought, and some quote the other pasuk to say that it's on top of the kaporis that Hashem spoke. Yitachem depligi bahad depligi Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Rabbi Yochanan b'Perek Daled Megillah. So it's possible that they argue here what Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi and Rabbi Yochanan argue about in the fourth parak of Megillah. It's Chav Zayin Amud Aleph. Now here's a Gemara of Megillah. Veskol base bayis gadol saref ba'esh, and the whole big house was burnt in fire. There's Malachim Beis Chav Tes, Rav Yochanan and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. There's machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. We don't know who said what. Chad Omar, one said, Makom shemagdilim bo Torah. It's the place where Torah is made great, meaning the big house that got burnt is speaking of Beis Medrash. The Chad Omar, Makom shemagdilim bo Tefillah. It's a place where they make great prayer. So it's not the Beis Medrash, it's the Beis Knesses. Mandamar Torah d'chsiv. So now it brings proof psukim. We'll skip this because I'm now well into a Gemara that the Meshekh Chokhmah only quotes one line of. Tistayim Rav Yoshua ben Levi. So from this, let us conclude that Rav Yoshua ben Levi is the one who said Makom shemagdilim bo Torah. That the big house that burnt is the Beis Medrash where they aggrandized the Torah. Damar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, what's his proof? What else did Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi say that would make you conclude this? Beis Knesses mutar lasos Beis Medrash. A person could sell a shul to build a Beis Medrash. So Shema Mina, that Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi who considers the Bayis Gadol, the greater house, to be the Beis Medrash. So now, Meshekh Chokhmah continues. Im Beis HaKnesses osim Beis HaMedrash, o Beis HaMedrash osim Beis HaKnesses. Whether they debate whether the Beis Knesses could be sold to build the Beis Medrash, or the Beis Medrash could be sold to build the Beis Knesses. The Beis HaGadol is Zeh Amar Shemagdilim Bo Torah. And therefore, if you could sell the Beis and the one who says that you make tefillah great, he says that tefillah is greater. Im kein mizbeaich and nechoshes malkam ha'avoda adifa. So now he's tying this debate as to which is more important, which is holier, a shul or a Beis Medrash. And the question of which is holier is you're only allowed to sell something, to buy something, or build something that is more holy. So if you could sell a shul to build a Beis Medrash, then you're saying that the Beis Medrash is holier. If you could sell a Beis Medrash to build a shul, then you're saying a shul is holier. And by implication, the question would be whether the learning is holier or prayer is holier. So this gets into fundamental things between Litvaks and Chasidim here. That we're actually seeing this machlokas about whether Hashem spoke from the mizbeaich or from the aron. So to go on. If we say that prayer comes first, that you could sell a Beis Medrash to build a shul, then it would mean that the copper nechoshes is holier, because that is the place of avoda. And avoda is what we carry on with our tefillah. According to the one who says the Beis Medrash and learning is more important, then it would be from on top of the kaporas that Hashem speaks, because that is on top of the aron where the luchos are, and therefore the seed of Torah. And this goes back to the debate as to whether you pause learning Torah to daven, and this is a long matter, and go and see it. And this is a relatively famous machlokas among people who learn Nefesh HaChaim. When somebody disturbs their Torah learning to think about God, are they interrupting their Torah learning? Are they thinking about God to enhance their Torah learning, and that's why it's a valid interruption? Or is the whole point of the Torah learning to be thinking about God, and therefore it's not so much an interruption as the whole point of performing it? Now, what I found interesting about this machlokas, about the aron and the mizbeaich, is that there's a comparatively famous machlokas, far older than the Meshekh Chokhmah, between the Rambam and the Ramban. So the Rambam, Maimonides writes, Hilchos Beis HaBechira, laws of the temple, first parak, first halacha, very beginning. Mitzvah laseh, it is an obligation, it's a duty, lasos bayis Hashem, to build a house for Hashem, muchan liyos makrivim bo karbanos, because it should be a ready place to offer sacrifices. So the Rambam's position is, what is the main point of the base of the Beit HaMikdash? To be a place for karbanos. Now the Ramban in Shemos Chav Hei Aleph, that's near the beginning of the parsha, Hine ikar chayfetz hamishkan hu makom menuchas hashchina shehu ha'aron. The central chayfetz, the central objective of the Mishkan, is to be a place where the Shechina can rest, which is the aron. Kamosha Amar v'nodagati l'chasham v'dibarti itecha me'al ha'kapores. And I'll be known to you there, and I will speak to you from on top of the kapores, which he's quoting our pasuk, which is 24 pasukim later, from where he is. Al kain hiktim ha'aron v'kapores. Therefore, when it lists the kalim as they're made, the aron and kapores are listed first, bikan kihu muktam b'mala, because it comes first in elevation. B'samach la'aron ha'shulchan menorah sheim kalim kabahu. Next comes the shulchan and menorah, because they are kalim the way the aron are kalim. The yuru al inyan mishkan sheb avura nasa, and then about the mishkan which is made for them. And again, a little later, he repeats this. V'soda mishkan hu sheyiyah kavod asher shochen al har Sinai shochen alav b'nistar, that the presence of God, which was on Har Sinai, will rest on it b'nistar, in concealment. V'haya, meaning in the Kodesh HaKodashim, where it's concealed. And a third time, v'haya b'mishkan tamid im Yisrael hakavod shenir lahem b'Har Sinai. And inside the Mishkan will be always the kavod which appeared to them in Har Sinai. He even goes so far as to say that the reason why the aron is made by gold is to represent the fire that was at Mamad Har Sinai. So it's very interesting. So according to the Rambam, the whole point of the Mishkan is to do the karbanos, and therefore the Rambam's essential kli is the mizbeaich. And according to the Ramban, the main point is to hear Hashem's voice me'al ha'kapores, which, as we saw, wasn't even a given that is where Hashem spoke from. I don't know so Jonathan Baker asks, which pasuk is he reading from? So I am reading Chav Hei Mem Beis, but the other relevant pasukim are the Ramban on Chav Hei Aleph actually quotes Chav Hei Chav Beis as well. So one of those pasukim is the pasuk that he is reading from that you're talking about. I don't know who the he is, but one of those should answer your question. So let's get back to this. So the Rambam says that the ikar is the aron, the mizbeach, and doing the karbanos, and the Ramban says the ikar is the aron and perceiving the presence of Hashem. And I think that this is a carryover of the two opinions that we saw in Rashi, whether Hashem speaks from the aron or from the mizbeach. And I think it's also what the Meshekh Chokhmah is referring to, the machlokas about whether shul comes first or the base medrash comes first. Which do you sell to build which? And do you interrupt learning to daven or interrupt davening to learn? Which, as I said, nowadays has strong chasidus versus litfish overtones. So it's just interesting that this week's pasuk could be involved in some of life's most major decisions as to how you perceive the goal of your avodas Hashem. And see the goal of avodas Hashem, and therefore, do you want to pick a path that is avodah-centric, prayer-centric, or you want to pick a path that's Torah-centric, or might even one that's Beinam L'Chavero-centric, but that's not discussed here. So in any case, I thought you would find this interesting, and have a good evening. There is an interesting question that is not actually part of this Dvar Torah that bothers me. So I'm going to raise it, and maybe somebody will answer it in the comments. In the Sefer Mitzvos, the Rambam has separate mitzvos, numbers 63 through 67. These are separate chiyuvim that are the Ola, the Chatas, the Asham, the Shlamim, and the Mincha. 5, 63, 64, 65, yep, I counted correctly. The Ramban says there's just one mitzvah to bring karbanos. He says that according to Shorish number Yud Beis, there's really just one mitzvah, and when you have one mitzvah and details, you only count the one mitzvah. The specific pieces of the mitzvah are not separate items of the 613. Meanwhile, the Ramban has to add mitzvos after he disqualifies some of the Rambam's list. And the 28th asay that the Rambam adds to the list is mitzvahs asiyot aron v'akaporas. Adding, the mitzvah to make the aron and the kaporas. Now, this, at first glance, I thought, oh, great, it fits the general picture. The Rambam lists all the karbanos, and the Ramban is talking about the aron and the kaporas. But then it hit me that actually this is unlike the machlokas I just described. Because if the essence of building the Beis HaMikdash, or the Mishkan, was to have a place to put the aron and kaporas, then why would it be a separate mitzvah? Right? The Ramban was saying that according to Shorish Yud Beis, it would be a detail, right? Details that are part of the bigger picture wouldn't be counted separately. So why would, right, if the Ramban just finished saying, well, he didn't just finish saying, he said it in someplace totally different. But if the Ramban on Chav Hei Aleph is saying, Ikar Chavitz B'Mishkan, Hu Makom Menuchas Hashchina Shu Aron, that the essential objective of the Mishkan is to have a place where the Shechina rests, which is the Aron, then why is he counting building the Mishkan and building the Aron as separate mitzvahs? I don't really know. As I closed the official Dvar Torah already by wishing everybody a good day. I'm just hoping that somebody wants to start a discussion on the comment chain with suggested answers. In either case, I hope you have a great evening, enjoy the rest of the week, and have a good Shabbos.